Hello, hello, hello. It has been a minute. So, as you come on, I appreciate you for joining. Make sure you share. Make sure you share and put in the comments where you are, where you're located. So I know where you currently are or located. Please be sure to share, share, share. We're gonna get started. We're gonna give some people time to come on. Let's see. Gonna share on my end. And we are not going to hold you long. Let's see. All right, so we're going to give some people time to come on because it has been a while since I have gone live. Okay. But I promise you, today we have some power packed information that will get you where you need to be. All right. All right. About one more minute, then we're going to start. All right. Now I'm going to share my screen so we can go ahead and get the ball rolling. Y'all give me just a minute. Give me just a minute. Get this uploaded. I'm not waiting to transfer. Now give me one more minute. All right, there we go. Okay, can you guys see my screen? Oh, what's this? Hold on. Can you guys see my screen? Katrina, I might have should have brought you on so you could tell me whether you can see what I'm intending to share. All right, so most of y'all know who I am. Excuse me, y'all. Let me close this door. Most of you guys know who I am. I am Earlene Bacon, um, realtor, licensed health and life agent, life coach. That's me. Okay, so tonight we are going to be brief in presenting to you guys just some real good nuggets, all right, about the home buying process. Okay, so we're going to be going over the home buyer's roadmap. Now, I cannot see whether or not it is in. Actually, let me do this. Katrina, I'm gonna go ahead and bring you on. That way, I'll know. Oh, it's not sharing.
Hey
Okay,
there.
okay. So this is
So
what
we
we're
were able to see, we were just seeing, we weren't seeing it in presenter mode. So we were able to see.
doing. Okay, okay. So let's
Yeah.
see.
And good
Let
evening,
me,
everyone.
let me just do entire screen share. Let's see if this is what we need.
There we go. That's it.
There we go. Okay. Now we are good to go. All right. So tonight we are going to just kind of go through a guide to buying whether it's your first home or investment property, or you're wanting to upgrade, okay, or even downgrade for that matter, okay, because a lot of people, um, they buy a home, they have a family, it becomes an empty nest, and the home that once catered to a large family like myself. It was six of us. Okay, I had four children. So when everybody's gone, you kind of like, okay, this is a lot of house, and I don't want to maintain all this house for the rest of my life. So whatever situation you're in, I will be able to assist you upgrading, downgrading, or looking for your first home. All right. Okay. So let's see. So the agenda for tonight, what we're going to talk about. Um, for those that don't know me, I will make sure you know who I am. Okay. And then we're going to go over 10 steps to the home buying process. Very simple. All right. First and foremost, again, I am Earlene Bacon. I specialize in buying and selling residential and commercial properties in Georgia right now. Okay. And I say right now because there will be more to come, more states to come. Okay. But if you want to buy, I can help you with that process. If you want to sell, okay, your current home. And if you need to do both at the same time, I can help you with both transactions. Okay, so just wanting to make sure it's clear that, if you already own a home, I will be able to help you market your home to sell while simultaneously looking for the new home that you want to purchase. So, from listing to living, I can help you at every step of the process and beyond. So, when we say and beyond, that means after you close on your home, I can help you with the mortgage protection insurance. Because remember, I mentioned I am a licensed life and health agent. So, when you buy your home, a lot of people don't know, if you don't put 20% down, and our special guest Katrina will go over this briefly, but if you don't put 20% down, there's an insurance that is attached to your mortgage payment that is PMI, private mortgage insurance. It does not protect you. If you, the person that is getting the loan, dies, or your spouse, and something happens, it'll pay the loan off for them, but your family kind of, may end up losing the home. All right. If you are not, because you got to think about it, you lose an income. A lot of things change when someone dies. And, let's just be real, y'all. You purchased a home, that's one of the largest investments that you'll ever make. If you have to protect it. Okay. You got to make sure that your family will be able to keep it in the event of a tragedy. Spending plans and savings goals. I'll be able to help you with that too. To create a plan to save using only your current income. All right. So I know people are like, well, how are you going to do that? Well, again, when you buy a home, you don't want to just stop your life, right? A lot of times people become house poor. Okay, then they can't do nothing, that they did before, or they can't really still enjoy life because they're working to pay a mortgage, right? Well, that's what the experience with working with me is a little different. Okay, because I've had that financial education experience um, throughout my insurance career, I'm able to help you create a spending plan. I don't like to call it a budget because who wants to be restricted like that, right? So I call it a spending plan and work at the same time on your savings goals, because you're a new homeowner. You can't just call somebody to come fix something for you and it not come out of your pocket, right? That's what a landlord does. But when you become a homeowner, you want an emergency fund, and you want to start out with at least 3 to 6 months. And you got to be able to do this while at the same time maintaining your note on your mortgage. Okay. So I'll be able to help you in that area. Also, paying off your home. So, with the same amount of money that you're currently using, I'll be able to help you implement a plan to pay down your debts. This payment plan will allow you to save tens of thousands of dollars in interest. Some people know, and I really have not officially shared it on Facebook, but most of y'all do know that we did purchase this house in 2017 and we paid this house off last year. Okay. Yes, we had a 30-year mortgage, but we knew we were not going to pay on it for the entire 30 years. And I will be doing a future teaching about how much you save when you do pay off your home early. A lot of times people don't see the sense of paying off such a large debt in a short period of time, but I will show you the advantages, okay, of doing so. All right. So let's look at the stages of purchasing a home. The first thing you need to do is you need to schedule your initial consultation with me. All right. During this one-on-one, we're going to complete an assessment of your preferred locations, your must-have features. That gives me something to know what I need to be doing for you in the background, because the next thing is you're going to decide on how much you'll spend on your new home. All right. Buying a house is a life changing purchase, y'all. but you need to have reasonable limits. Okay. Again, you don't want to be house poor. You can't forget about your other expenses that will come along with purchasing your house, like your taxes and the out of pocket of even that transaction of appraisals and inspections and other fees. Okay. Then, of course, you got to hire the right agent. Moi. All right. I will hold your hand to the end. And even then, I won't just let it go and forget about you. You will have access to me to be able to have questions answered about those next steps that I previously shared. Okay. This is where our special guest comes in. You need to seek pre approval. Okay. Miss Katrina will be able to help you with that. She has been a godsend. She has helped the clients that I've been working with since I've got my real estate license, and it has been a very pleasant experience. Okay, let me just say that. All right, we've got our first closing together coming up on Wednesday. Woo woo! Yes, so I'm very excited. It has just again been such a smooth transition with having her as in my circle. Okay, let's just put it like that. But she will help you with these things that are on this particular slide. With helping you review your credit score to see where you stand, and getting you the financing that you need. She has a whole process and system in place, so she makes it very simple. Okay. So we will check out and tour your top picks. All right. So usually this can be done in person. This can be done via Zoom. um, Everybody today, is usually busy. They have things that they have going on that cause their schedules to kind of not be as liberal as they would like. So there are different ways that we can go about making sure that you see homes as they come on the market. Okay, but let me just be real with y'all. Right now, we are in a seller's market. Okay, so usually something will come on the market, and within a day or so, there's a contract on that home. All right. So that's the importance of what I'm telling you so far. You got to have your ducks in a row because you want to be ready when it's time to um, to make that offer. Okay. When we are looking at these homes, I want you guys to feel free to ask questions. A lot of times people are shame to ask questions, for fear of looking like they don't know anything. Well, you have an agent for a reason. I'm supposed to be in your corner and on your side to be able to help you and guide you. And I can't do that if I don't know what you don't know. Okay. So, step 6, make an offer. Once you find that home that you say, this is my house, I feel it in my bones, I feel it in my spirit, then it's time to make that offer. Okay. But it doesn't make sense to make an offer unless you have completed the prior steps that we've talked about, particularly getting that pre approval. Okay. Once you make your offer, you'll review and sign your contract, and then your dream home is literally just a signature away. Okay. In our one on one, and as the process goes along, I will walk you through understanding each stage of that process and what it looks like. Okay. And what to expect. Okay. So, again, it doesn't have to be a scary process. I want people to understand because a lot of times people don't move forward because of fear. Okay. And fear is not your portion. Okay. We already know what the word says about fear. And we know it does not come from our creator, right? 2 Timothy 1:7, God didn't give us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. Y'all already know where I be coming from, right? All right. Y'all know we got to keep him in everything. So we will not be operating in fear. We're going to operate in freedom, in abundance, and getting from, again, A to Z. Once your pre-approval is done, you got your signed agreement. Now you can get your financing in order with satisfying the things that will be required to get you a clear to close. And again, Miss Katrina will go over that. Okay. You've got to get your home insurance policy to cover your home. And this will be on the actual home, not on the person that is purchasing the home, like I mentioned earlier. Okay. So that's what a solid insurance policy is going to do. It's going to protect you, your family, and your house. And the last thing is to pack up and get into your new home. All right. So again, it does not have to be an intimidating process. I want to make sure that you guys know. I think most of y'all that are on this platform know me. Y'all know how I operate. Y'all know I'm very thorough. I'm very detailed. So again, you will not have to feel like, okay, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what I need to be doing. You will have your hand held throughout this entire process. Okay. So you'll get your keys and move into your home. All right. So again, step one, do your initial research within your one-on-one consultation with me. You'll set your budget, and you'll already have me hired, okay, working for you. Seek your credit approval, view your homes, make your offer, sign your documents, and get ready to move in. Okay, once all of your um, things that need to be done have been satisfied. All right. So let's talk. Give me a call at 770-746-9184, or you can also text me at either one of these numbers, 404-520-0926. You can send me an email at and that should be earleenbacon.com. Okay. Hello@earleenbacon.com. And you can also visit my website and schedule an appointment at earleenbacon.com, www.earleenbacon.com. You can also send me a DM. All right. So I'm going to get ready to turn it over to this phenomenal woman, Miss Katrina.
Are you
Okay.
able to hear me?
I can,
All right,
yes,
all
I can
right.
hear you.
So great information. Thanks for setting
Thank
the stage and the foundation. So we can just jump right into it because I know people are like, okay, what is she going to share with us? If you could go ahead and bring up the presentation, I'm going to jump right on in. I'm excited to be here so I can
All right.
assist in helping us navigate the home buying process. Let me know when you got it.
Mm-hmm. I got to get it in the right layout. Let's see. I
All
added
right,
it.
no
Oh,
problem. There we go.
there we go.
And yeah, we're earning and learning together, so I love it. So I am a
That's
Katrina Fluker's loan officer, a loan originator. We use the terms interchangeably. And this evening, I'm going to just talk to you a little bit about the process and what we do so you can navigate it. As Erlene has just said, some people are very intimidated by the process. It is major. It's a lot of moving parts, it's a lot of different terminology, and that's to be expected. That's why you have knowledgeable people on your side. As Erlene said, we're getting ready to close our first deal together on Wednesday. So whoop, whoop, we're excited about it. Our clients are excited. And they have an excellent realtor who negotiated a phenomenal contract, and they have an excellent loan officer who is able to get them to the closing table. So, with that being said, I want always start with some home buyer affirmations. So whether you're listening live or you're listening at 2 o'clock in the morning or 9 o'clock tomorrow morning, I want you to say this because just like Erlene said, we serve a powerful and mighty God. So we already know if He said it, it's done. So I want you to repeat after me. I am a homeowner. I am
I
committed to
am
the process.
I
I
am
hear
committed to the process.
I will be accountable
I will be accountable.
and I'm good soil.
I am good soil.
So when we're good soil, that means that the seeds that are being planted, they're going to grow. We're going to reap a harvest. The harvest that you're trying to reap in this season is your home, is getting yourself financially situated and ready. So I want to talk you through that from a very real perspective so we can have good dialogue. And again, even if you're not live right now, as you're looking at this later, drop your questions and comments in the chat so that we can follow back up with you. So I like to start at the very onset. We're going to talk about the documents you need and all of that. But I like to have real dialogue when I'm talking to people initially because they're like, okay, a lot of times my first questions that I get is, can I get it with no money down? And it's like, okay, yes, there are down payment assistance programs. Yes, there are some things out there that can help, but the days of going in and just having no money, those days are long gone. So what do you expect at the very beginning? At the very beginning, you're looking at earnest money. What is earnest money? When Erlene negotiates that contract and the house is listed at 150 and she gets it for you at 150 with 3% or 6% closing costs, you're going to have to put some earnest money down. So for number's sake, let's say we're going to put $1,000 down because the house is 150. That comes off of your cash to close at the end. So you're not giving it away. It's just you writing a contract to say, hey, I'm serious. Then you have a home inspection, because if you're buying a home, you want to inspect it to protect your investment. You want to make sure that everything is functioning. So you'll get a licensed home inspector. So that's going to be anywhere from like 300 to 500, depending on the size of your house. So let's just, for devil's advocate, say we're at 1,000. We're already at about $1,300. Then you have a home appraisal. What is that? That lets us know that the house you're buying, it's actually worth 150 or more, because we want it to be worth more. And 150 is just the example I'm using. So earnest money, home inspection, and appraisal. So right there, we're already at about, give or take, maybe $2,100. And we haven't gotten into anything else. So I say that to say being prepared means being financially prepared and making sure you're not going in house poor, and you're prepared. You're ready to invest in your process, and you're like, okay, I'm ready. I know what I need to do, and I have some money saved for this process. Even if I'm getting down payment assistance or a grant, I still want to be prepared for my home. So what are those documents that we're going to need? Because this is where it gets very tricky, and this is at the very beginning, because people are like, well, Katrina, where can I find them? The documents that you're going to need, and I always send an email with everything written so you know very clearly what it is that you're going to need in this process. I want you to look to the left where it says wage earner. That is if I'm a person who I have a job that I get a W-2. So you see, I'm going to need my ID, government ID, last 2 pay stubs. Now, if you're paid every week, then you need 4, because we need a total of 30 days of pay stubs. Your last 2 months bank statements, that's for any accounts that you're going to use associated with this purchase. If you have a retirement or investment account, maybe you want to pull money from there. So that's if applicable. And lastly, you will need your last 2 years W-2s. So I'm going to pause right there. So I know you're saying, okay, well, Katrina, I've been on this job a year, and I had another job last year. So do I only need the W-2s from the job I'm currently on? You need W-2s that encompass 2 years. So if you had 3 jobs over the last 2 years, we will need W-2s from all 3 jobs. You're going to complete an application outlining your work history over the last 2 years. So for every job, you have to have W-2s. That's not your tax return. That's the document that you give to your tax preparer so that they can do your tax return. You get it from your employer. I know sometimes we get our taxes done and we kind of put those documents to the side and we forget about them. If you're planning to buy a house, you're going to need them. For my buyers who are self-employed or 1099, you still need a copy of your ID, your bank statements, and any investment accounts if applicable. But you will need your last 2 years of personal tax returns, because if you're LLC, when you file, you're filing your personal, and then you do a schedule that attached to your business. So we're looking at both of them. And what I'm really looking at is to see how much you actually earn. So on your business, if you said I made 100,000 last year, but you wrote off 80, you only made 20,000 as it relates to being able to buy a house. That's what we're looking at. If you didn't file your current year's taxes, we have to see that you have a filing extension, and you will need a year-to-date profit and loss statement. That's going to come from your tax preparer or your CPA. So that's the minimum documentation that you are going to need. and it's critical, it's important, and that gets you started. So if you're thinking about getting the process started, take a picture, screenshot, start gathering these. This is the minimum. As we get into it and start looking at your application, additional documentation may be required. Everybody's loan process is different. What's going to be the same is that you're going to have a strong loan officer and a strong realtor by your side through the process. Now, we're getting our documents. Katrina, what is going to impact my loan being approved? Because I put my earnest money down, I got my home inspected, the appraisal is happening, my loan is being submitted. When will I know? Typically 24 to 48 hours, you're going to get an approval. It's either a flat out approval or approval with conditions. But these 5 things are what's going to impact your approval, and they are critical, each and every one of them. Erlene talked about credit, and that's where we're going to start. Now, you have to have good credit in order to purchase your home. Now, I know we can do loans as low as 500 credit score. The trade-off with that is you're going to have to put 10% down. So we can do it. FHA usually starts at about 580. We can get it done, and you can even get down payment assistance. But this makes your process look a little different because now we're really looking at that credit history, and it requires you to have more letters of explanation if you have derogatory credit. Some of the tips that I give for you to monitor your credit, look at myfico.com, not Credit Karma or any of those because they're off. MyFICO, you can pull up your mortgage credit report or credit score, which is what you need. We're looking at the middle score. So you have Experian, TransUnion, and Equifax. Whoever falls in the middle, that's the one that we're looking at. So you want to limit any new lines of credit. So let's say I want to buy a house next year. I just started this new job. I want to save some money up. Don't get any new credit. Create a budget. And that last one is the most important. Have patience. It takes time. You want to build, you want to be solid. Tune into the webinar so you can learn, so you can hear it over and over until you're like, okay, I got this thing and I really understand what it is that I'm doing. Your credit rating represents your willingness to repay. So the better your credit, the better interest rate that you get, the better your credit, it lessens some of those conditions that we get because we have the documentation in place to show. So, but it also depends on your whole financial situation, but you want to make sure, don't co-sign, don't buy a new car. If you want a new car, wait until you get the house. Get the car after the house first. So make sure, because if you co-sign for somebody, that debt is going to impact you. And if they're not paying on time, it's going to impact your credit in a negative manner. So if you can't control it, I say try to stay away from it. If you want to really help somebody, help them with these tips so that they can build their own credit. Because if it's an income thing, that means that, hey, they can't afford it and they need you to help them afford something that the numbers don't line up. So help them, so to speak. Now, the second thing is your debt to income. What is that? I hear it all the time. It's exactly what it says. How much debt you have versus what you make, what you bring in, your income. So this example shows you if I had $3,500 worth of monthly debt, that's the monthly payments, and I made $10,000 a month, my debt encompassed 35% of my income. So that's my debt to income ratio. This is an example using an annual gross income of $120,000. So you want your debt to income ratio to be low as possible. That's why we want to pay credit cards down. You want to have them below 30% usage if possible, so that you don't have all these high monthly balances and all these extra little things. So making sure you don't have too much, that you're not overextending, and have that discipline. If I can't buy it cash twice, it's what my daughter-in-law used to tell me, she doesn't buy it. It's a good rule of thumb to live by. Just it's a little strict and rigid, but it helps us to stay on task. Now, assets. What are assets? It's the money. Do we have money And is it sourced? This is a critical component. This is where you're giving those bank statements. On the bank statements, underwriters are looking to see what's coming out every month. So if your credit report just shows a car and 2 credit cards, but every month on your bank statements there are reoccurring charges, the underwriter is going to ask for a letter of explanation to say, hey, I see that you have an additional $500 coming out every month from this to this creditor. Who is that? And they get to ask those questions. Some people get very offended, but don't get offended. This is a major purchase. You're asking a bank or lender to back you on a $300,000, $150,000, $1 million home. So it's major. They want to make sure that you have funds, money that it can be sourced, and we're able to see what has been your trend or pattern. Now, if you are a person who has cash, maybe you're like, I don't like to put my money in the bank. I would prefer to just hold on to it myself. No problem with that, but the funds must be sourced. So that means if you're thinking about making that purchase, you need to go ahead and start depositing your money so that your funds can be seasoned. Because if you make a large deposit, if it can't be sourced, that money has to be backed out. So it has to be sourced. That means where's it coming from? And it has to season. It has to be in your account at least 60 days so that it can be sourced, so that they can see this money is there. So we want to be very mindful and careful of that, because we'll hear those words. It's like, well, they want to know all my business. They are the underwriter. They're looking at making sure you're going to be able to repay this loan, not just in the next 6 months, but in the foreseeable future. What is the likelihood? And is everything above board? We want to make sure that it's nothing that is questionable going on. So something to consider and think about. Work history. I alluded to this earlier. You have to have a 2-year work history. Now, is it rigid? No. Can you have some gaps? You can. If you had a baby, if you got sick, if you even got laid off and it took you a couple months to find a new job, we can explain some of those small gaps. When you have long gaps of employment, that's where there's a problem. If you have a long gap of employment, and let's say you come back and you're like, okay, well, I'm ready now. You have to be working at least 6 months, especially if we're talking mainly to individuals who are W-2. You have to have 6 straight months, because otherwise they're averaging your income. And that begins to be a problem, because now it's like, well, no, I make this amount. No, you took time off. So we want to have a 2-year work history. Another thing about the 2-year work history is try not to, if you can, jump from job to job. Because when you have variable income, it's going to average over those 2 years. So we want to make sure we try to remain as stable as possible. 2-year work history. Income, the money, 30 days of pay stubs. If you get Social Security, some people say, well, can I buy a house? I get Social Security. Absolutely. You need your award letter. If you get a pension, you need your annual award letter or the pay stub and your bank statements, so that we can look, we can see, and we can vet the income. There are different loan products. You can do a bank statement loan. We can go traditional FHA, conventional VA, even USDA loans. So there are a lot of different loans. But for this conversation, I just want you to get the basics of what you need to get started, because I like to have individual conversations so that we can see what's going to be best for you. It may not be what was best for your cousin, for your uncle, for your sister, or your brother. Everybody's situation is different. We want to get the documents together so that we can see, what does my financial picture look like? What does this puzzle look like? And that's my job, to put the pieces to the puzzle so that we can submit your package to underwriting and we can get you to the closing table and approve. Now, as I said, there are some non-traditional lending solutions sometimes that we go through or go to. We have bank statements. Some of my self-employed individuals, they may have those large deposits, and like, you know what, It's easier for me, instead of giving my tax returns, to just go with the bank statement. I'm cool with putting a little bit more down because I have the capital and I have a good credit score. Because with those optional or non-traditional lending solutions, you must have better credit. So you're looking at least at minimum 660 and above. We have investor loans. Maybe you already have a house and you're like, you know what, I want to expand my portfolio. We can do an investor loan. You do have to have a solid credit score with that, and the house qualifies itself. The only other thing you're going to need is your money down. This is where 20% comes down, because you will have to put 20% down for an investment loan. Not for FHA, first time home buyers, or FHA period is 3.5%. For conventional, you got 3% for first time home buyers. You have 5% and 10%. So you don't have to put 20% down unless you're getting an investment loan. Those do require 20%. We also have foreign national programs for people who are just, getting in the country, so we can assist them as well. So there's something for everyone. It just depends on your situation. And that's why I love having that initial conversation with my clients so we can see exactly where we are. Now, I want to pause in all of the stuff you need and just kind of talk a little bit about what we want to avoid. What can change the game up from us being at the closing table to us potentially losing earnest money and, all of our investment. We don't want to do that. Number one, do not quit your job or change jobs in the process. Don't go from a W-2 to being self-employed during this process. Stay consistent where you are. Don't buy a new car. Don't change banks. Don't deplete your savings. If you had the trip of a lifetime plan and you're going to deplete your savings, don't start the home buying process. You want to be consistent. Don't co-sign for anybody. Don't ignore the processor, because I get you started, then my processor assists you through the way collecting documents. So we want to be responsive. We want to be quick. We want to get on it. Don't get behind on your bills. Pay everything and be consistent. And don't make large deposits. I tell my clients, before you do anything, just call me and let's talk about it so that we can make sure you can avoid those mistakes and we can get you to the closing table with your keys and out the door. So people ask tell me about those programs. What do you have? Well, there are down payment assistance programs, as I said. This is a $5,000 down payment assistance grant that we offer. You have to qualify for a conventional loan in order to get it. So your DTI has to be in order. Your debt to income ratio has to be in order. And they even give you up to $500 towards your appraisal cost. So that helps all the way around. We also have all the programs that I list over here on this flyer. What I do when a person applies, I look at your situation and I give you options so that you can see, okay, if you qualify for an FHA loan, I show you what you can do with FHA. I show you what you can do with conventional. And if it's USDA, I show you, so you get to make the choice. I am giving you the education, but I always want you to know you are the buyer. You are the one driving. I am supporting you in this process. So yes, and you see for down payment assistance, I can get it as low as $580. If you're doing a co-borrower situation, you want to make sure your co-borrower's credit is just as good as yours, because we go by the person with the lower score. So again, lots of different options. I just want you to see what we have so you'll know, okay, I can do this. Now, all of that information, I want to talk about some questions that people typically ask. And co-borrowers, I already kind of set us up to get there. You can have occupying and non-occupying co-borrowers. The thing about it is, it needs to be a value add to your situation. So if your co-borrower has great credit and they don't have income that can help you and they have a lot of debt, that's not going to help you. You want them to have credit that is as good as yours or better, but also have income that they can contribute. Otherwise, it kind of doesn't help you out. And that's something I can let you know on the front end when we get started early. How much money do I need to have? As a rule of thumb, we already talked about looking at those initial upfront costs that we want to have, I always tell people you want to have at least, I'm going to say at least $5,000 saved. So you're, even if it's not going towards the down payment process or your closing, if you get full closing, at least you go into your house with some money. You're not house poor. You're not going in and now you're just using credit for everything. So you want to save up, and that's a very personal conversation, because if you want to buy a $500,000 house, you know, you're going to need a little more. And we could talk about that depending on your credit and your situation. What if I just graduated from college? Can I buy a house? You can. You don't, the 2-year work history would be your transcripts from school. If you are a doctor, a nurse, a teacher, and you got your contract offer, we can use that to get you qualified. I know many of our graduates right now are getting ready and they're like, well, I don't know. Am I going to rent? Am I going to buy? This is a great time to decide. And let's look and see how you can make the best move that you need to make for yourself. And what does a mortgage payment consist of? Your mortgage payment is principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. So no, you're not having to pay taxes at the end of the year. No, you don't have to write a check to the insurance company. It's going to be taken out already. It's going to be built in. We call it PITI, principal, insurance, principal and interest, taxes, and insurance. The last question that I get often is, what is a rate? A rate is what you're going to pay for that loan. So if they're saying, okay, the rate is 6.25, that's what you're paying on the money that you're getting. So, or what is the rate now? I get that question a lot. Are the rates 6.5? It depends on your credit. It depends on where you are. It depends on your credit and your scenario. I tell people all the time, marry the house, date the rate. Marry the house and date the rate. Housing prices are going up. Rates do fluctuate from time to time. Get the house that you want if you are able to financially afford it, and we can refinance you when rates drop. So that will help you to solidify and lock yourself in. So as property values are going up, now you're building equity, and it's a good win-win for you and your family. So we're back at our affirmations. I know it was a lot of information, but it's needed. And what I tell my clients all the time, we're going to talk about it over and over and over. We're going to go over it so you get it, so you understand. But also, I want you to say it, and I want you to say it from right down deep in here. I am a homeowner.
I am a homeowner.
I am committed to the process.
I am committed to the process.
I will be accountable.
I will be accountable.
And I am good soil.
I am good soil.
Yes, indeed, you are. Thank you for having me, Erlene. I appreciate it. My contact information is here. Katrina at mhmteam.com is my email. You can also find me at loansbykatrina.com or on Instagram at loansbykatrina. And I'm here to help. There's no question that is a bad question. Let's talk about it so we can see how we can get you prepared. Some people are ready in a month, some people in 3, some people 6, some people in a year or 2. It's okay. We're not discounting you. We want to help you through the process to get you ready for your new home. Thank you.
That's right. Thank you so much, Katrina. Like I said, you have been a godsend. I wanted to touch on a couple, just one or two things that you mentioned. If somebody is not ready, if your credit, once you have your initial consultation with me and with Katrina, and your credit is not going to allow you to move forward at that moment, I do have resources to be able to help you. Um, I've got everything in place, y'all. Okay. Again, y'all know me. Y'all have known me on this platform for years. And y'all know I'm always looking for the best resources to be able to provide to y'all. Okay. So I have done that. Um, we do have the credit, not just the credit building or the restoration, but we also have the credit building. Okay.
Mm.
So, and then you work towards your savings goals. Um, all of those things to prepare you, just like Katrina said, you may not be ready right away. It may take you 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 9 months, but it is worth it. That's where patience
Mhm.
comes in. Okay. We got to
Mhm.
execute and operate in the fruit of the spirit, y'all. It
Yes.
is to be applied even in areas of our finances concerning, you
Mhm.
know, buying a home, um, living in overflow. It is not just a tag or just not just a saying or whatever. It's a lifestyle. I have told y'all this for years. It is a lifestyle, and God promised us abundance, right?
Yes.
So John 10:10, He said that not only, right, will we have life, but we will have it more abundantly. Okay.
Yes. Yes.
So do you believe it? That's what I want to know. Do you believe it?
Yes, ma'am, with everything in me. Yes. I
I
have
know.
seen him move and do a mighty thing when it looks like what? When
Come on.
when the numbers don't when the numbers ain't numbering, the math ain't math, and I've seen him move.
Yes.
Listen,
Yes.
take the first step and he will help you. So, but
Yes.
we must take the first step. We have
Yes.
to get our set. He has given us everything that we need. So we have to use the tools that have been made available.
Faith and work. It ain't.
Come on.
It's
Come
not
on.
just faith. Not just work. Faith without works is dead, being alone. Okay. We need them both. Okay. So I pray this was a blessing to you guys. I hope that it answered some questions for some of you who may not have known like where to even begin, right? That may feel intimidated by the process, that might feel overwhelmed, right?
Mm-hmm.
Don't y'all. We're here. We're here. Y'all know I'm always here for you, readily available to answer questions. You can always leave me a message. Again, send me a text. So I just look forward to getting back into the swing of things, joining you guys on this community, to make sure that you're meeting your goals. You first of all setting your goals, because we're not supposed to be stagnant. Okay, we ain't supposed to be complacent. He said be content, not complacent. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
all right. So let's do that. All right, while you are yet planning and believing God for greater. All
That's
right,
right.
we are here to get you to that place. All right, so everybody stay blessed, and y'all know what to do. Continue living in overflow. Love y'all.